Medicaid expansion is one of the biggest ballot measures facing Nebraska voters next month, and one Panhandle senator weighs in on the issue. KNEB.TV News starts right now.
From your trusted source for news in western Nebraska and eastern Wyoming, this is KNEB.TV News. Presented by Platte Valley Companies, premier provider of financial services.
Hello, I'm Ryan Murphy. This is KNEB.TV News, powered by Platte Valley Companies. Thanks for joining me. In our top story, Gering Senator John Stinner says if Medicaid expansion is approved this November, it won't immediately impact the state's budget. Supporters of Medicaid expansion say 90,000 people in Nebraska that currently do not qualify for Medicaid or subsidies under Obamacare would be covered if voters approve the change during the midterm election. Stinner, the chairman of the Legislature's Appropriations Committee, says the state will need to prepare to get those additional people into the system if the initiative passes.
If it does pass, there's going to be a ramp-up period of time. It's going to be 6 to 9 months before we really are ready to take on new participants. So that plays into the numbers. Right now, the numbers the fiscal office gave me is about $52 million.
Stinner says things like increased revenue from internet sales tax and other revenue streams may be available to offset the initial projected cost of Medicaid expansion. Well, the public is invited to come out to the Midwest Theater tomorrow evening for a Humanities Nebraska program entitled An Issue of Trust, Democracy, and the Future of Journalism.
But this is a give and take. We really want to know what the public thinks about the future of our democracy and the role that journalism plays. I mean, we're under attack. We in the media feel like we're under attack anyway. The press and the politicians have never had a rosy relationship, as we know, but right now, when we're accused of being the enemy of the people and fake news and dishonest, when most of the journalists across the country are just out there really trying to live up to high journalism standards and tell people what's going on in their community. So we think this is very important.
Panelist Charlie Brogren from KFOR-FM in Lincoln, investigative reporter Clark Kaufman with the Des Moines Register, and Denver Post correspondent Anna Staver will tackle the issues and engage in discussion with audience members.
This is not a right or left discussion. This is not a pro-Trump or an anti-Trump. This is about freedom and journalism and democracy. It's about our Constitution. And as Greg said earlier, the First Amendment talks about freedom of the press, freedom of the speech, and those are the things we want to talk about.
The discussion gets underway at 7 p.m., is free of charge, and is also brought to you by the Star Herald, KNEB Radio, the Chadron Eagle, and the Midwest Theater. Well, coming up after the break, Dennis Ernest will be in with your midweek weather forecast. Don't touch that dial. KNEB.TV News will be back right after this.
At Platte Valley Bank, we understand that you have a busy life, and that means you don't always have time to come to the bank. That's why we offer user-friendly online and mobile banking with features such as iPay, recurring transfers, and mobile deposit. So you can bank how you want, when you want to. Whether you prefer to bank in person, over the phone, or online, Platte Valley Bank makes it easy to take care of your finances.
My big secret for designing a quality kitchen on a budget is J&K Cabinetry. They have all the great standard features that my clients love. Solid wood doors and frames, soft close doors and drawers, dovetail joinery. The quality is amazing. J&K Cabinetry has 17 beautiful locations, sells directly to designers, contractors, and dealers, and provides plenty of options for a semi-custom look. But the most important thing is having a satisfied client and just seeing how much they love their kitchen. J&K Cabinetry, a new kitchen around you.
ZM Lumber in Scottsbluff, your local headquarters for J&K Cabinetry.
Now at Arby's, you can get 30 euros for $90. Or for those who aren't trying to cater a Greek family reunion, they're 2 for $6.
Arby's, we have the meats.
For sandwiches.
This is KNEB.TV weather from the Arby's Weather Center. Arby's, we have the meats.
And hello again, I'm Dennis Ernest in the Weather Center. Very pleasant temperatures across our region today. Maybe just a few degrees cooler than yesterday, but right up toward that 60 mark here across western Nebraska today. We're going to stay on a very pleasant trend here over the next several days as we see the forecast laid out for us here a little bit later on. Tonight, as you make your way to evening activities, it'll be mainly clear skies. We'll see temperatures drop into the 40s, and then by tomorrow morning down around 35 or so for a low temperature. Again, coming in just a little bit cooler than yesterday's 64 degrees, which is average for this time of year. No precip here now in the last couple of days, and really it doesn't look like any ahead, and that's good news as we get combines rolling again, which have been on the sidelines now for weeks actually, waiting to get restarted on some of these crops out there. No precip expected. We look for seasonal temperatures over the next several days. Let's put Futurecast in motion, and just nothing getting up our way at all. You might be saying, okay, put it in motion. Well, we are. There just isn't anything coming through our part of western Nebraska, and really, for the exception of a few clouds, not much over eastern Wyoming either. So again, tonight, look for a low around 35 thereabouts across the region, and tomorrow, sunshine. Temperatures maybe a little bit warmer, mid-60s pretty much across the high plains, eastern Rockies. Tonight, as we said, 35 light winds, mainly clear. We look for sunshine tomorrow. Mid-60s is our forecast. Should be ideal weather for the season ending, or regular season ending anyway, football games on Friday and Friday night. Saturday in Lincoln, very pleasant for the Huskers. We'll see a high of 63, probably about 58, 59 in Lincoln, it looks like, for Saturday's game with Minnesota. Warm temperatures on Sunday, might be the warmest day of the period, and it looks like we're going to hold with this mild, dry weather at least through midweek.
Now at Arby's, you can get 30 euros for $90. Or for those who aren't trying to cater a Greek family reunion, they're 2 for $6.
Arby's, we have the meats.
For sandwiches.
Care Heilbrunn, State Farm agent, is here to protect all the moving parts of your life. With auto, home, life, and financial services, Care Heilbrunn and her team make it simple to bring together what matters to you.
Who is Hydrotex? Hydrotex manufactures and distributes high-performance lubricants and fuel improvers. We've been helping customers improve their operations for over 80 years with products made in the USA. We sell directly to customers and cut out the middleman and offer excellent service and value. Our products last longer and work better so that you spend less time maintaining equipment and more time making money. Whether you're in a factory, farm, fleet, or food processing facility, Hydrotex can help you. Visit hydrotexoil.com or call 308-635-8162.
The leaves are turning and the temperatures are cooling, so it's time to come harvest the deals at the Viera Wireless Fall Savings Sale. Right now, get your family high-speed, truly unlimited mobile data for just $35 per line with 4 lines. Prices have never been lower for unlimited data. Plus, trade in your current phone and get up to $500 off the latest iPhone and Samsung models. Those are incredible savings on the most popular and advanced smartphones. Don't miss out on our Fall Savings Sale. Hurry into Viera today.
Welcome back. Another honor flight that will bring Panhandle veterans to the nation's capital has been announced. On November 1st, 4 vans carrying 11 veterans and their travel partners will depart from Chadron, make a lunch stop in Scottsbluff, and continue to Denver for their flight to tour the war memorials in Washington, D.C. The public is invited to line the streets of First Avenue in Scottsbluff shortly before noon to welcome the veterans and then join them for lunch at the Elks Lodge. Well, with 3 weeks to go, Nebraska's Democrat candidates for governor and lieutenant governor are hitting the road for a 5-day, 15-city campaign tour. Bob Christ and Lynn Walls kicked things off this morning in Kearney, and tomorrow they'll be making stops in Sidney, Kimball, Harrisburg, and Scottsbluff. Friday's tour stops include Alliance and Harrison, and Saturday they'll head east along Highway 20 with stops in Chadron, Rushville, and Valentine. And Nebraska's average ACT scores have dropped below the national average, But officials say the decline was expected because 2018 is the first year all students in the graduating class took the ACT college entrance exam as juniors. Nebraska's 2018 composite score of 20.1 was fifth highest among the 17 states that test all students. And then nationally, 55% of those 2018 graduates took the ACT with an average composite score of 20.8. Officials say that 84% of Nebraska's 2017 graduating class took the ACT with an average composite score of 21.4. Well, coming up after the break, a heartbreaking loss for the Huskers on Saturday, but HuskerOnline.com's Sean Callahan says Nebraska should be able to notch their first win.
Exceptional care, right here at home. That's the mission of Morrill County Community Hospital. Morrill County Community Hospital is a 20-bed critical access hospital that owns and operates clinics throughout Bridgeport, including specialty outreach clinics and Morrill County Home Health Clinic, as well as Chimney Rock Medical Center, located in Bayard. Our dedicated team is committed to you and our community every time at Morrill County Community Hospital, Bridgeport, Nebraska.
Last school year, 17 students were honored as the Platte Valley Company's Star Student of the Week. Kids from Scottsbluff, Gering, Bridgeport, Bayard, Mitchell, and Banner County received winning nominations, and with a new school year underway, it's once again time for the public to nominate deserving K-12 students to be the next Star Student of the Week. How do you get your nomination in? Just go to pvbank.com, fill out the nomination form, and watch KNEB.TV News every Friday during the school year to see if your star student was selected.
Now sports from the Western Hearing Clinic Sports Desk. Western Hearing Clinic, the Panhandle's premier hearing health center facility, helping you hear what matters most.
Well, today we're joined by Sean Callahan, once again of HuskerOnline.com, as we take a look back at Nebraska's tough loss at Northwestern and this week's home game against Minnesota. Sean, as always, thanks a lot for the time.
Hey, thanks, Jason.
Well, how about last week's game? You were there. They were up 10 late in the fourth quarter. Did you think it was finally going to happen? And then how shocked were you when the Huskers eventually lost in overtime?
Yeah, it was tough because for 55 minutes, they played their best football all season. They ran the ball. They stopped the run. They were getting 3 and outs on defense. They were doing everything that you needed to do to win a game on the road against a team like Northwestern. But for whatever reason, this team couldn't finish on Saturday. And, Scott Frost, I think, played it fairly conservative in the fourth quarter, thinking that he had this game locked up, and that came back to bite him at the end. Maybe he should have went for that 4th and 1. There were 2 4th and 10s, though, that Northwestern converted on one of those drives. They were pinned back, 1st and 10 on the goal line, and were able to go 99 yards. So there are so many things where there are about 15 things, Jason. If Nebraska does just one of the 15, they probably win the game.
And unfortunately, losing teams and losing cultures, that's what happens to them.
Yeah, Nebraska has lost now 10 games in a row as a program dating back to last year. 0-6 for the first time in program history. It's become pretty tough. I mean, you look at just what Nebraska football has been now, going back to last year and now. I mean, they've won 4 football games over their last 18 games. They're 4-18, Jason, over their last 2 seasons. And if you go back to the previous year, you can go back to the bowl game against Tennessee and the Iowa game. It's even worse. I mean, Nebraska's 4-16 at that point. So there's a lot there that's not good that needs to be fixed here in a hurry.
I guess one of the frustrating things has to be when you watch the game, it's not like they don't do some good things. I mean, there are times when things are clicking and it looks pretty good, but still that consistency is lacking.
Yeah, it was interesting. Luke Gifford, after the game, said, some of the Northwestern players came up to him and said, "How are you guys 0-6?" Meaning you have a lot more talent than 0-6. And I think everybody watching this video right now, everybody that's following the team, would agree. This is not an 0-6 team, and that might be what's the most frustrating. We know there's material on this team. It's not conference championship material, but it sure as heck is not a team that should be 0-6 right now.
Well, this week they head into their matchup against Minnesota. How do you feel they match up against the Gophers?
Well, the Gophers also start a freshman quarterback. He's a walk-on. So I think from a quarterback perspective, this will be the first time they've seen kind of a young, inexperienced guy. I mean, you think about who they faced off against. They've seen some pretty good quarterbacks now, Jason. Shea Patterson from Michigan, David Blau, and Thorson. Those are three veteran Big Ten quarterbacks. Then Steven Montez from Colorado is a veteran guy. So this will be one of the more inexperienced signal callers Nebraska has faced off this year. And I'll be curious how the Huskers kind of match up with him. They lost their running back, Shannon Brooks. He's out with an injury for the season. So from that side of it, Minnesota's battling it. They started out 3-0. They've lost 3 games in a row since. So this is kind of a must-win type game for them as well if they have aspirations of going to a bowl game. They lost to Maryland earlier this year, and I know people are pretty upset about that follow Minnesota.
However, though, they did some things against Ohio State. They have to feel if they play at that level and kind of knock down the mistakes, they've got a good chance to win in Lincoln.
Yeah, Nebraska's a 3-point favorite, 3.5-point favorite, but you're right. That Ohio State game should get anyone's attention, and they gave Ohio State all they wanted. That was a 4-quarter game. They had a lead, I believe, at least in the second quarter in that game. So they played Ohio State a lot better than anybody could have imagined, and hopefully that will get Nebraska's attention because if Ohio State blew them out of the water, I think it would be a little bit easier for Nebraska to think we can win this game, no problems. But I mean, they're not at a point where they can say that about anybody, but I just think that Ohio State result should get their attention even more.
How's recruiting going? How's this 0-6 start affecting things there?
Well, they're kind of deadlocked on their numbers. They haven't gotten a new commit in a while, but they've been on the road, Jason, 3 out of the 4 last weekend, so they just haven't had any visitors in town because of the amount of road games they've had. They're going to be home now for the next 5 weekends, so you will see a lot of visitors in town. They're going to have 3 in this weekend, probably not any for Bethune-Cookman, but the Michigan State game and the Illinois games, those should be opportunities as well for Nebraska to host some potential recruiting visitors.
I would think Coach Frost could say, yes, the team's been losing, but he also maybe could promise some playing time to some recruits.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think everyone looks at just the short term, they're losing, that's going to be bad. But in some ways, you can say, look, this is why we need you. Look at this, look at that. We can plug you in and you can play or have an opportunity to play right away. But you don't want to be 0-6. I mean, you want to get some wins in there as well to show what direction you're going. And that's why Saturday was so difficult, because I think if they were able to win that game Saturday, they would have gotten some momentum. A win over Minnesota, maybe, then Bethune-Cookman, then they're back up to 3-5. That's not great, but it's a hell of a lot better than 0-6 right now, and that's kind of what we're looking at.
Sean, as always, we appreciate the time. Have a good time in Lincoln on Saturday. Hopefully you have a win to witness.
Okay, thank you very much, Jason. Appreciate it.
And that was Sean Callahan, the publisher of Husker Online, joining us today. I'm Jason Jorgensen.
There's a place where folks still play with fire. The common ground between backyard barbecue heroes and professional chefs. This is where friendships are forged, fire and flavor come together, and new techniques are perfected. Here in Big Green Egg Country, cooking is still treated as an art form. And since the most versatile grill you'll ever own comes with a lifetime warranty, you'll always have the the ultimate cooking experience.
Visit the experts at Paul Reed Construction, your authorized Big Green Egg dealer.
It's a friendly town, that's for sure. Not too big, not too small. Seems like everybody knows your name.
We stick together through thick and thin. That's the way it's always been. 'Cause where we live is still our claim to fame. We love this town, this grand old town. There's not another town like this around. We've got it all right here in our own backyard. We love this town. We love this town. We love this town.
Well, let's take a look what's happening on today's community calendar. That's a look at today's community calendar, brought to you by First State Bank, honoring those who give back. Nominate your community champion at fsbcentral.com.
Beat the heat and play inside with Planet Bounce at the Monument Mall. Bounce houses, concession stand, and the largest redemption arcade in town, Planet Bounce has hours of fun. Call today to schedule your birthday party, and as always, ask Ron about renting a bounce house for your party, corporate event, office party, or family reunion. Open Wednesday through Sunday. Planet Bounce Family Fun Center at the Monument Mall.
Local lending. We're here for you from start to finish. Keeping money in our economy. Supporting local jobs. Giving back to our community. Investing in entrepreneurship. Making our quiet towns a destination. At Platte Valley Bank, we support local because we are local.
And finally tonight, Lieutenant Governor Mike Foley made a stop in Scottsbluff yesterday to honor state employees during the annual Excellence in State Service Recognition event.
And it's all about trying to say thank you to our state employees, our longtime state employees, people who've reached certain service anniversaries, 10 years, 20 years, 30, whatever it might be, and give them just a small gift, say, hey, thanks for doing this. State employees have a lot of options. With the workforce being what it is today, with every employer out there begging for employees, people have options. And these folks opted for public service. And that's very important to say, hey, thanks for doing that, because it really, the complexity of state government requires people to really stay for a number of years to master the complexity of it. There's a lot of moving parts in the machinery of state government. And when people stay with us for a number of years and get really good at what they do, they help to serve the public in a very effective way. So it's just good to take the chance to take the opportunity to say thank you and well done and keep going, because there's more work yet to be done.
Governor Pete Ricketts also proclaimed October as Nebraska State Teammate Recognition Month here in Nebraska. Well, that does it for us this time. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you here next time.